Welcome back to TYT Sports on PLUTO TV. If you are watching on PLUTO TV, you're seeing this on Friday. We're also over on YouTube and Facebook, some promotion in there. And don't forget, as always, have to add it in, we have a bunch of TYT Network shows on PLUTO TV. So if you're watching this and you're watching TYT Sports and you're like, I needed my fix for pop culture, go watch Pop Trigger. I want to see a movie review with Ben Mankiewicz, who's occasionally on TYT Sports. You can go watch What the Flick.
Well, for the next 2 weeks, what are you going to do to get your fix of Francis Maxwell?
You're going to have to watch J.R. Maxwell Jackson.
It's not going to happen for you.
Do you know Francis doesn't have a middle name?
No.
Do you have a middle name? Do you have a middle
Yeah,
name?
of course I do.
So Francis,
I'm a normal person.
Ben says, like, what's your middle name? This is like the second week he's ever on TYT Sports. And Ben goes, I don't have a middle name. He goes, what would your middle name be if you can name it? He'd be like, Ben.
Wait, Maxwell doesn't or Ben doesn't have a middle name?
Francis Maxwell doesn't have a middle name, which I guess might be a Scottish thing. Here's what I do, and this is rude. I immediately assume it's Scottish. Something about, like, my reasoning for why Francis doesn't have a middle name. Maybe.
What do you think
he's got a confirmation name, which is more religious.
Right.
I think it would probably be Mel after Gibson because of Braveheart.
I was thinking like Andrew.
Andrew.
He looks like,
Francis
as a kid,
Andrew Maxwell.
It looks like as a kid, Francis, you'd call him Andy.
Andy. Franco. I've been calling him Franco for a long time. He actually hates it, but that's why I call him.
That's good.
Why
Come on, you can't reveal your weakness.
So Francis is in Africa. As we mentioned time and time again. I feel like I keep mentioning it because I know the comment section pretty well on YouTube. And I'm not sure if there's one on PLUTO, but if there is, please feel free to comment or send some feedback. Where is Francis will still come up.
Where in the world is Francis Maxwell?
Maybe I'll just do a video based on it. Our first story of today, though, is how Luc Mbah Moute led Joel Embiid to the NBA. And for those of you who follow NBA globally, which I actually know in the digital space, a lot of people do. I get notes all the time on Instagram. Some people send me highlight reels of like Real Madrid's basketball team. I get highlights of European basketball teams. And when you realize how global the NBA has become, and one of the things that leads to global players being able to really get on a world stage is not just being okay at the game. When Dirk came over, that was a revolutionary change because Dirk is the 6th greatest scorer in NBA history. And it led to a championship, and we're going like, damn, let's find the next Dirk. But then some things continue to change around that. For one, Serge Ibaka was a great role player, came over from Congo, and they've done great work on that. But in terms of this one, there's now 3 Cameroonian players in the NBA, and my favorite thing about the story that ESPN wrote about this, and it's a really good job, Jackie MacMullen, who does write for ESPN the Magazine, fantastic job.
Yeah.
All the way through. I think she finds some of the more human interest is like one of the main 4 pillars of journalism. What if it bleeds, it leads. Right. Human interest, like proximity to how close you are to a certain event. And human interest tends to be the most interesting because what most people don't realize is that players like Mbah Moute and Joel Embiid have not played basketball since they were 5 or 6 or 7 years old. They've been playing basketball when they come into the NBA for sometimes as little as 2 years.
Yes.
2 years.
That's amazing. So imagine.
Isn't that, I mean, if I played 2 years of basketball and was 6'10", and someone said you can go to America and play in the NBA, like I'd be going like, must be harder than that.
Yeah,
right?
think about it this way: like, what's the premier soccer and of course in the world football league in the world? I don't know. You tell me. But whatever that is, say us in America, we play soccer, but not to the degree that other countries do in the world. Yeah. So if I start playing at 18 years old, and in the most preeminent soccer league in the world says, hey, come play with us, I'm gonna have a pretty large ego about that. Yeah, I'm like, you know, I've been playing for 2 years.
I must be great.
all you bastards have been playing your whole life, you know, I've been playing for 2 years and I'm playing with you right now.
Right, so one of the things that Jackie MacMullen gets to in the beginning of the story, which I think, again, fascinating, good stuff, is she talks about how Mbah Moute found basketball, right? So it's like 2003, I believe. Make sure to have that correctly before I miss. Yes, in 2003, 16-year-old Luc Mbah Moute at this time, he's walking to, of all things, soccer practice.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, football practice, which is common. And he said that he used to pass by this dirt court with a hoop, a basketball hoop without a net. And on the 3rd or 4th time he passed by it, he saw like 2 kids playing, so he decided to take a shot. According to the story, nothing but, well, there's no net, but if there was a figurative net, and he threw his soccer ball through it. Luc Mbah Moute at this point is 6'8", 6'9", he's tall, Jesus. And in world football, it's rare that you get somebody that tall. So he started to pave the way out of Cameroon to the NBA. And one of the things that he did since he's been in the NBA is create a basketball camp there. And that's what eventually led to Joel Embiid finding Mbah Moute's basketball camp, because all of a sudden there's this 6'10" guy who's sprouting up in Cameroon and was also on the way to a soccer practice or soccer tournament. Believe it or not, the story, according to MacMullen, is Joel Embiid's mother was away on business for like a week in France, and she came back and they said, oh, Joel's got a basketball audition. And she goes, how long have I been away for? So Embiid paves the way, obviously Mbah Moute paves the way for Embiid to come through, and now they want to turn, and it makes sense, Cameroon into maybe a good recruiting ground for potential NBA players. But it's not just Cameroon. Ibaka comes from the Congo. Embiid, Mbah Moute, Cameroon. I mean, technically Tim Duncan was not the Dominican Republic. It's the US Virgin Islands, thank you. Ginobili, Argentina. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Greece. And what's the common trait with all of these? These are great basketball players in the NBA, playing at the highest level of all competition. So it just goes to show in this story alone, there is a future for the NBA globally, and I'm excited to see what happens.
A lot of times transforming the way the game is played that we thought we had perfected. Right. There's aspects of it, as you brought up Dirk Nowitzki, 7-footer who I think, maybe I'm wrong, but in my memory, one of the first 7-footers to actually make a 3-point shot a serious threat from someone that size. We would box in 6'10" to 7-foot guys as you do not leave the paint. Where's that big man? Are you gonna leave the paint? Why would you ever leave the paint? The paint is where you live. That's your home. And it's like, if you left the paint, you're a sucker big man. You know, what are you doing leaving the paint? Yeah, you afraid of the paint, big man? And now he's obviously easily a Hall of Famer, one of the best ever.
Here's what's amazing about it too, how it's transformed basketball. And Embiid, by the way, has a very nice looking 3-point shot. Embiid does so many things right. And here's the thing that might, if Embiid never plays basketball again, which I pray doesn't happen because of all these injuries, like, I still hope that his personality is so enjoyable. When I watch him on his Instagram account, just his way of laughing at things, like, he doesn't come from the greatest background in the world, but he shows that you can find enjoyment out of anything, so everyone should be coming into the NBA with that type of.
And also this shows, lastly, I think also Embiid was, the beginning of the article talked about his little brother was trying to get over the fence. So there was a basketball facility apparently donated to this part of the country.
Yes.
And so a lot of people do get to play there, at least try to get a chance to hone and get
how much
noticed.
You give someone to look up to. They go like, well, look, Mbah Moute and Embiid did it. You know, I'm not, maybe not 6'10", but we have this beautiful court now. And we talk about this all the time. How do you get good at basketball? Opposed to some other sports like football or hockey or soccer. Soccer technically can still work. You just need you in a basketball. Ibaka did it without shoes. What's your excuse?
I mean, there's another reason why so many countries have great soccer players. It's because you need a ball, and a lot of times it's a grass field, dirt field, whatever.
I mean, that's you can make a makeshift cone, take a shoe, use it, and that's your defender. You make sure you got to find a way around that shoe, and that's what's amazing. That's what I've always found amazing about basketball is you can get better without anybody around you. Can you be the best ever? No, you're going to need some competition at some point. I'm pretty damn good against my shadow. I'm just saying. But
you can never shake him, but he never blocks anything.
In general, I thought the best quote of the story was that it says Joel Embiid was literally found walking down the street. And Kansas, great player on Kansas, and they also goes into a lot more. So I recommend the article. Great job by Jackie MacMullen. Great job by ESPN the Magazine. I'm one to criticize ESPN all the time, but I'm also one to give them credit when credit is, of course, due.